I'm here because my wife is a workaholic and abandoned me during our marriage.
I am here to move on with my life and get rid of my deadbeat husband.
So then what's the problem? If you did what you were supposed to do, she did what she was supposed to do, and the house ran pretty good, then what's the problem?
The cheating, Your Honor.
Oh.
This relationship had got so bad that it just got on my nerves.
Now
y'all.
what did burning his clothes accomplish?
It made me feel better.
Oh, really?
Now Mary O'Neill says her husband Stephen is running from his responsibility of being a father and wants the judge to order him to pay child support in today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Stephen O'Neill versus Mary O'Neill. I'm advised that after 8 years of marriage and 1 child, you're asking for a divorce. And Mrs. O'Neill, you want child support, Mr. O'Neill? You said no way. Tell me what ended this.
My wife was a workaholic, Your Honor, and she neglected me during our marriage.
Is that right? How'd she neglect you?
My wife never, and I mean never, bagged me in anything that I did, Your Honor, as far as business, as far as personal, or otherwise.
What did you do?
Well, basically, I got into a few business ventures where I actually tried to make things better for us.
Like what?
As far as Amway, I got into Amway, and I got into another telecommunications deal.
Okay, and while you were in Amway and telecommunications, were you making any money?
No. It was basically on the beginning end. So
And
in
when
the
you say she
beginning
didn't
end,
back you, what do you mean by that?
as far as support, just support me in business ventures when I actually sit down and give presentations with different people. She never even came in the room, Your Honor.
It was your work. Why'd she have to come in the room?
Absolutely, but the thing is, Your Honor, the reason I needed her in the room is just for moral support, if anything. And that's basically what a wife's supposed to do.
And you wanted divorce. Did you go to her job when she was out working?
Oh, no.
ma'am.
Oh, no.
And
Not
so
at
did you
all.
morally support her when she was at work?
Absolutely. I supported her as far as her going to work.
But when you were doing the Amway presentations, that was a job. That was a business, right?
Absolutely.
So that was work for you, right?
Absolutely.
And so why did she have to be in the room with you working
Just
while
to support me, Your
she
Honor.
had something
Just-
else to do?
Just to support me. She didn't have anything to do, Your Honor. She was in there laying in the bed. What did she have to do?
So what did you want her to do?
Basically, just be there. That's all I ever
Just
wanted
sit
from
there
her.
and look pretty while you were
just
doing the
sit there and
presentation?
look pretty. That's all she had to do, Your Honor.
And so you say your wife was a workaholic.
Yeah. she
Okay,
was
so
a workaholic.
apparently she wasn't working when you said she was laying in the bed when you were doing the
she was
Amway
working.
presentation.
She was working. Trust me, she was working, Your Honor.
What was she doing?
But then she just wasn't supporting me.
What were you doing?
Working, I was doing security.
So you were working outside of the home as well?
Just ma'am. He became intimidated.
What was I intimidated about?
He became intimidated and said that I worked too much. I was a workaholic. All the things that I am interested in is working. Yeah.
So
to
he said you
provide.
worked too hard, and you said he didn't work enough.
Yes, ma'am.
worked
That's
enough,
how I
Your Honor.
felt.
During
That's
this
how I
period
felt
of
about it.
time, when she had our son, and trust me, this is the only child that I have by her. When we had our son, I worked 2 jobs, Your Honor. And I worked those 2 jobs for about
did.
2 years. But I never got a thank you for that. And basically what she's sitting up here trying to tell you is that I never worked, you know, and I always begged and borrowed from people. I didn't beg and borrow
I
from
didn't hear
people.
her say all that. Did she say that?
Oh,
No,
she's
ma'am.
been to. Trust me.
So you know
because
that's
this
what
is
she-
what I've been hearing from her all this time. And I know I bust my behind, Your Honor, to make
So
sure
for
that
2 years you worked 2 jobs.
Absolutely.
And then from then on you tried your own businesses. And
what I did after that, Your Honor, is I went to truck driving school because that's what I wanted to do. So I went to truck driving school, and within those 3 months, the truck driving thing didn't work out.
so what are you doing now?
Basically, what I'm doing now, I'm a painter. I'm happy.
Now you're
at that.
painting?
Yeah.
So you enjoy doing the strokes with the brush?
I enjoy doing that.
Yeah. All right. So then what's the problem? Now that you're painting, she works too much. What is
Oh,
he
we're
talking
not-
about when he
we're
said
not
you're a
together.
workaholic?
We're not together, Your Honor.
We're not together, Your Honor.
Oh, so
We've been
you
separated
finally
for 3
decided-
years. We've been apart for 3 years, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
And now you got a job that you enjoy and you're doing it steady.
I enjoyed my tour bus job. I had it for 7 years, Your Honor.
Oh, all right.
I enjoyed doing
So
that.
what does he mean by you working too hard and you're a workaholic?
That's what he said I am, ma'am.
But what does it mean? Did you work long hours? Did you work every day? Did
I
you
work
not?
double shifts.
Okay.
Double shifts, step up to the plate and do things that I saw was lacking in the house.
And what was lacking? He wasn't
The
working?
bills, ma'am. The bills.
The bills wasn't lacking,
So he
Your
was
Honor.
working as a tour bus operator. He was working in his own business, and you're saying that none of that ever allowed you all to pay the bills?
This
Her
was the
shopping
thing.
bills were what was lacking.
No, ma'am. This was the thing. Long as I was toting and fetching and catering to Stephen. He was happy.
Okay, now
When
you
I-
have to explain the toting and the fetching and catering.
Yeah, okay. Picking him up when he come off his charters, bringing him home, cooking him a meal. When I went to work and started making my money, when I went to him and said, Stephen, I am fin to work, but I am going to work overtime so we can start saving and doing better. He seemed like something came over him. What I wanted for me and Stephen in 7 years, to have our own, be self-sufficient. All right, I come from a good family, but to be
You wanted
self-sufficient.
your own house as opposed to renting? What do you
Yes,
mean
ma'am.
by your own?
I wanted my own. I wanted my own house.
And he didn't like you working 2 jobs.
He didn't like me working all the overtime.
Why not, Mr.
Why?
O'Neal?
Because
It
we
helped the
wasn't getting nothing
family.
out of it, Yana.
It what?
We wasn't getting anything out of it.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that, things weren't still getting taken care of. You know, I was still doing what I was supposed to do, basically.
So
You
the
know,
bills
she
still
wanted
weren't
a
getting
car.
paid?
Yana, listen to me. She wanted a car. So I
Okay,
got
I
her a
listen
car.
to you.
So I got her a car, Yana. Ask her what she did with the car. After
Nah,
I
you
told
just
her,
tell me.
After I told her, don't let my daughter drive the car. That's my stepdaughter, Yana.
And how old
she
was
did
she?
it anyway. She's 20 now.
Uh-huh.
She wrecked the car, and Yana, this is on my credit today. 1866 is the remaining balance of this car.
Okay, so you got her
So
a car.
I sucked that in, Yana. I sucked that in.
All
And
right.
basically what I said, I'll take care of that. You know, no
Okay.
problem. You know, she don't understand that.
I do.
And then what happened?
And then it seems like everything that I tell her, Yana, she just don't want to listen.
But first you said even though she was working and making more money and working double shifts, you didn't see the benefits of it. Things didn't get any better.
What's the benefits of it, Yana?
I don't know.
I'm at
You tell
home.
me.
I'm at home taking care of the kids. I'm feeding them. I'm doing homework.
ma'am. That's a
I'm
family.
waiting on her.
That's a
You see
family.
what
So she
I'm
was
saying?
never at
Of
home.
course, that's a family. But that's a family without a mother.
So then you had to take up the shift of being the mother
Absolutely.
I
and
was
being the
did
only parent at
same.
home with the
Absolutely.
children. And you didn't like that.
Same.
Absolutely. Together we did things that we supposed to do. You know, and our house ran pretty good.
So then what's the problem? If you did what you were supposed to do, she did what she was supposed to do, and the house ran pretty good, then what's the problem?
The cheating.
Time.
The what?
The cheating, Your Honor.
Oh.
When divorce court continues.
Now what did burning his clothes accomplish?
It made me feel better.
Oh, really?
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Mary O'Neal, who says her husband Stephen had an affair during their marriage.
I came home from work one day and found a beeper bill, called the number back because we backtrack. That's what we do in the family. We excellent at that. We
You know how to investigate, huh?
Yes, ma'am. We called and she passed the phone to Stephen.
So he was there at the house.
Yes, ma'am.
But what you
And
need to understand,
and
y'all.
Hold on a second.
Then she began to tell me how they had an affair a whole year, how Stephen was over there taking care of her and her children, renting her
Children?
cars. Yeah, she had children too.
That may explain why your bills weren't
Yes,
getting
ma'am.
paid.
That's how I had figured. And after evaluation and sitting up there thinking about it, he just had to be broke down.
What you mean by that?
He had to be broke down.
Well,
I burned his clothes
You
in the
did what?
driveway. Yes, ma'am.
Clothes in the
I burned his
driveway,
clothes.
y'all.
I can tell the truth on myself, ma'am. I burned his clothes in the driveway because I told him he had 10 minutes to get home and get his belongings.
You gave him 10 minutes to get home.
Yes, ma'am.
But this is a
And you
30-minute
burned his
drive,
clothes.
y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
No, that's not right, Mrs. O'Neal.
Yeah,
You
okay.
can't do that.
Yes, ma'am.
See,
I
she
What,
know
know.
now,
right about a whole lot.
Okay.
That's violence.
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
what did burning his clothes accomplish?
That's the only thing that he understood.
But
Okay,
what
he
did that
didn't
accomplish?
understand. It made me feel better.
Oh, really?
It made me feel better.
But you
And
know
I-
what? You could have gotten arrested.
Yes, ma'am. I took
And
all
that's
that
a
in
really
consideration.
foolish act to engage
Yes,
in
ma'am.
anger.
Yes, ma'am.
Could have burned up the house.
Yes, ma'am.
You burned them in the driveway, right?
Yeah, but I
Could have
really
gone
had-
onto the roof, caused the roof afire. Could have
Yes, ma'am.
could have caused damage to yourself, your children.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't act like that. That's foolish.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't do that again.
Yes, ma'am. I ain't gonna have to do it.
Well, you know, you may get mad at another man, and then instead of burning the clothes, you may decide to burn him.
Ma'am, he did it for me.
So you through with men? Is that what you're
No,
trying to
ma'am,
tell
I
me?
love men. The thing is, I make better choices this time.
But it's still, you thought you made a good choice there, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
All right, so you still could get to that point again where a man makes you angry, get you upset, and then you may burn them instead of the clothing. So you've got to take
Ma'am.
control of your anger.
I learned to control. I'm
What
doing
else did you
better.
do?
That's all, ma'am.
You said you had to break him down.
Break them down. Just break them down. That's all.
So you just burned his clothes?
Yes, ma'am.
So did he get home in 10 minutes?
Oh, he was halfway there. He backed up and he looked and kept on going. That was the best that he should have
He was a
did.
smart man, because
Yes,
you
ma'am.
probably would have done something to him as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
You weren't going to stop at burning the clothes if you were that angry.
Yes, ma'am. I was that angry.
And so he's been gone ever since?
Yes, ma'am. He left.
So what are you talking about her working so much and you
she's
over
talking
at
about
somebody
this
else's
certain
house for a
relationship.
year?
No, listen to me. Listen to me, Yonder. This
You
is
got a habit of
about
telling me to listen to you.
This is about
Wait
this
a minute,
particular
wait a minute. Hold on a
relationship that
second.
she's talking to.
Hold on a second. You're not meaning that disrespectfully,
No,
are you?
ma'am. Not at all.
All right, because I'm about to get upset.
I apologize. Don't get upset.
All right.
But basically, what this relationship that she's talking about is, this was a friend that I've been known for a long time, y'all. And it wasn't the fact that I was over there taking care of her and all these things. This is what she wants you to believe.
So what were you doing if the number is on her
I needed
beeper?
some
Wait
time
a
to
minute, and she
myself.
called you, and the woman handed you the phone.
Of course she did.
That's
She
not
didn't
time
have
to
anything
yourself.
to
That's a
hide.
woman and
And
2
you're
kids.
Your Honor, I needed some time to myself. And I wasn't over there cheating with her or anything like that. I was tired, Your Honor. I was tired.
Now, how you getting so much rest if she got children?
It wasn't the fact that I needed rest, Your Honor. I
So
was
what do you
just
mean by
tired of
time
this
to yourself?
relationship. I was tired of this relationship. This
Selfish.
relationship had got so bad that it just got on my nerves, Your
So
Honor.
time to yourself. You go get another place and you stay with yourself. You go to the park and you sit there alone. You go to the beach and you look at the ocean. Time to yourself is not at a woman's house with 2 kids for a year.
But
Exactly.
it wasn't for a year, Your Honor. It was for a night. And it,
Oh, so it was
wasn't
only
even
one-
that long. And it wasn't really for the night.
Just one time.
Just one time, Your Honor.
When divorce court continues.
That's the way it
Well,
needs to be.
Mr. O'Neal, let's just stop this conversation right now before you say too much.
No, I'm not going to say
No,
too much.
just hold
Your
on a second.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Stephen O'Neal, who denies having an affair during his marriage.
Wait a minute now, wait a minute. Now, if the beeper is there and she dialed the number,
The beeper wasn't there, Your Honor. This was a page of receipt. She not
so
she
it
not
couldn't have
telling the
been
whole
it
truth.
couldn't have been one night if the pager receipt is there. It means it was a bill
one
that had
night.
accumulated
Yes,
from a
ma'am.
prior
Bring it
month.
on
Come
home.
on,
Bring
Mr.
it on
Your
O'Neal.
Honor, you're not understanding me.
No, you're not
I
understanding.
said, and
Bring
this
it on
pager,
home.
I didn't buy for her.
You didn't buy it for who?
For the woman in question. We'll put it like that. For the woman in question, Your Honor, I didn't buy this pager
Who
for
said
her.
you did?
She put it in my name, which I told her was fine
How
because
could
she
this
couldn't get it in her
stranger
name.
go and purchase something in your
She
name
wasn't a stranger, Your Honor.
Exactly.
and you agreed to that?
Of course, because
But
she
you
was a
mad at
friend
your
of mine.
wife for getting a car in your name and letting her daughter drive it, but you let another woman who's not even your wife, and this lady's daughter was your stepdaughter, not even any relation to you, get a pager in your
Yes,
name and mess
ma'am.
up your
But she was
credit?
a friend of mine, Your Honor. That
But
was
you're not-
simple as that.
But you upset with your wife letting the daughter drive the car?
Of course. You know, because this was something that I told her not to do. You know, and the
Oh,
only
so
thing
it's
she had
because
to-
she didn't listen to you.
Absolutely.
She disobeyed.
And that's the reason that I'm in this shape that I'm in now.
Yes, ma'am.
It wasn't the fact that I'm trying to boss her or anything, but listen to reason. That's just reasonable.
Come on now. So why aren't you paying child support?
Your Honor, the reason I'm not paying child support because I take care of my son.
What do you mean by that?
When?
When I take care of my son, I buy him school clothes.
When?
Only fact that I didn't buy him summer
What,
clothes
once a
this
year
year
when
is
school
because she
starts?
wasn't woman enough to
No.
call me, Your Honor, and tell me, could you please go and get my son summer clothes? She didn't tell me that, Your Honor. She won't even call me or tell me
You
anything.
should have
It is.
called him
It's always my fault.
It's
and
always
told
her fault.
him that the kid needed clothes.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
thing is this, Your Honor.
You know, my thing is this. Now you listen to me.
Okay.
It's your turn to listen to me. She doesn't need to call you to tell you your child needs anything.
Yes, ma'am.
She doesn't need to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
And you buy him school clothes When school starts, once a year, every fall in
Not
September?
once a year, whenever he needs something, Yana.
Oh,
he calls
that's
me.
not-
If she calls you,
He's
right?
big enough now that he can call me and tell me what he needs.
And you big enough now that he shouldn't have to call you to tell you what he
Exactly.
needs because you should already know.
I
Stop.
talk to my son, Yana.
Stop. That's what a parent's responsibility is. Your child, no child, should ever have to call a parent and say, a kid, he can't be more than 10, is he 10?
No, he's
No,
6.
ma'am.
Okay, 6 years old. He got to call you and say, Daddy, I need XYZ. That's not a parent should already know what a child needs. You should know his needs, and you do.
How
Be
can I-
quiet.
Exactly.
More than he does.
Yes, ma'am.
A child's responsibility at 6 is to have fun and just
Exactly.
enjoy life.
That's
They shouldn't
how I
have
see
to
it.
worry about what they need. That's your responsibility. That's her responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
He shouldn't ever have to pick up the phone and call you and tell you he needs anything.
Nothing.
He's alive. He's healthy. He wears clothes. He eats. He wears shoes.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk about she didn't call you and tell you. Stop pushing the blame.
I'm not pushing the blame, Yana.
So, okay, so you buy clothes every now and then. Good. What you do during the times when you're not buying clothes?
Well, right now I'm without a car, Yana.
But you got a good job as a painter now because you enjoy it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm finna give me one. And
You finna get you one?
Absolutely, Yana.
I thought you just told me you was painting and enjoyed it.
No, I'm talking about a car, Yana.
Oh, so now you can't pay child support because you got to buy a car?
No, not at all. I can pay my child support.
I know you can.
I went down there, Yana, I went down there to try to get myself on child support. The state of Tennessee wouldn't allow me to do that. They said that they no longer let men go down there and put themselves on
No,
child
you're not
support.
on. If she's not
She
on
has to do
welfare,
it.
you don't do that.
Yes, ma'am.
But,
All you
Yana,
have to do is
I'm-
send her the money.
But, Yana, I'm not sending her anything. I'll send
Oh,
it through
you
the
think
court.
you not?
I'll send it through the court, Yana, because that's the way it needs
Well,
to be.
Mr. O'Neal, let's just stop this conversation right now before you say too much.
No, I'm not going to say too much,
just hold
Yana.
on a second.
The divorce court continues.
And Mrs. O'Neal, you need to stop working so many hours if it means neglecting your children. There is more to life than material things. And we think that means more to our children than our time.
Divorce court continues in the case of Mary O'Neal, who wants her husband Stephen to pay child support.
Now, Miss O'Neal, you have some other children, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they minors?
I have one adult, she's 20, and I have one 14.
Okay, so the two of you only have the 6-year-old together.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have to take into account that you have to pay some expenses for the 14-year-old as well.
Yes,
The 20-year-old is her problem.
Yes,
She
ma'am.
got to take care of herself. But if you can go over to Sally's house and help take care of her children, you're going to
I don't
take care
take
of
care
yours
of
first.
anybody's children but my own.
All right, good. And you're going to give her the money every month. You're going to send the check to Ms. Mary O'Neal. You're going to make it payable to Mary O'Neal, like it or not. And she's not going to have to call you, because if you don't pay it, you will suffer the consequences, which means could be all of jail, driver's license suspension, your professional license suspension, and any number of other things. So you don't want to go through that because you just got this good paying job and you're enjoying your new career. You want to keep enjoying it. And Mrs. O'Neal, you need to stop working so many hours if it means neglecting your children. Okay. There is more to life than things and material things.
Yes, ma'am.
And we get caught up in material things. And we think that means more to our children than our time. But you know what? Your kids can be happy with one ball.
Yes, ma'am.
They can be happy with one dress. That's parents who get caught up in all that madness. All they want is us. Your time, your love, your affection, paying attention to them, and they'll be happy. All right? So you need to balance that and make sure you spend some time with them.
Yes, ma'am.
And I hope you have a custody order. And if not, I want you to see the mediator so you can get a plan so he can see his son on a regular basis and continue that relationship.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? But in the meanwhile, the child support order is $700 per month.
Oh, thank you.
That's the order of the court.
All
Court's adjourned.
rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Oh, let me see. I think that's a pretty good number. Let me see. I was trying to do it on my head, Joe. 700. Well, that's a new complaint. She works too much. And you know, sometimes they do work too. People
Well,
do.
that is a
You
problem
got,
in a marriage.
again, it's balancing. It's a balancing act.
I think you hit it on the head. Sometimes
No, I
adults
think I'm gonna
get
take
caught
that
up.
down to 500. That's a little excessive. I'll just do it on my own. On the
That'll be
court's
good
own
news.
motion, I'm going to retract that and order $500 a month. That was a little
That'll save
excessive given the
another court
fact that,
proceeding.
well, given the fact that she earns money, plus she has a 14-year-old, she does have to take care of her. I have to take it into account. But that child's father is also responsible for some support. It is not Mr. O'Neill's responsibility.
My wife, she hasn't contributed anyway during our 6 years of marriage. Past 2 years, I had custody of our 3 kids. Therefore, I feel that she needs to pay me child support.
I would love to take care of my kids, but I'm not financially stable right now to take care of my kids.
Your Honor, I have to practically beg her to watch the kids for a weekend, just a weekend.
Not a mental health worker who works with children.
I was going through a time where I had cancer. Okay, I had 2 months to live. And this man did not bring
Yeah.
my kids one time to the hospital. To this day, it's hurting me. Because I feel like this man did
Yeah.
me wrong all my life, and he couldn't even bring my kids to see me at that point.
Philip Campbell says his wife Letitia is using her illness as an excuse to avoid helping to raise their children, and he wants the judge to order her to pay child support in today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Philip Campbell versus Letitia Campbell. I'm advised that after 6 years of marriage and 3 children that you're divorcing. And Mr. Campbell, you're asking the court for child support. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, what are the ages of your children?
My children are 2, 3, and 4.
And how did it happen that you have custody of them?
We've separated 2 years ago. She moved in with her parents. I moved in with mine. She wasn't able to take care of the kids.
Why not?
I was the only one working, Your Honor. I was the sole provider for
Can I
our...
talk, please?
No,
I was the
he
sole
hasn't
provider
said
for our
anything.
family, Your Honor. I'm...
What do you mean by sole provider?
I was the only one working, Your Honor. I was taking care
And
of our
why
kids.
is that, Phil?
She never wanted to get a job, Your Honor.
Oh, you...
She never wanted to get
You
a job.
lying to this
I was the
court.
only
Can I
one
talk,
working
please?
past.
Can I talk,
We've been
please?
married
You
for
need to be
6
quiet
years.
until he finishes.
Okay.
We've been married for 6 years, Your Honor. She had an order for child support on me while
And
we
you
were
were
still
living
married.
together?
Right, exactly. They was taking money out of my check.
So you are still living in the same household. You have 3 children, and your wife has an order for child support.
Yes. She went through welfare, public aid.
So she was receiving welfare for the children while living at
Right.
home with you and while you were
Exactly.
working.
He's lying.
Exactly. I don't know how
He's
I don't know what she told them on the application to make them take money out of my check.
How is it that if you were living in the same household together, you were receiving a welfare check?
He left because he had just got out of the military or whatever.
So if he was in the military and he left, and the military knew that he had children because they also knew that he was married.
Yeah.
So what was the military allotment?
I mean,
You mean what? What was the military allotment?
he got
Your Honor, she
he
can't
got
get a
paid.
story straight because she's
He
not
got paid.
telling
He
the
got.
truth.
I don't have to lie to you. He got paid
lying to her.
for the base housing and everything like that. Okay, we were living on base. Okay, and I was pregnant. I was pregnant on bed rest because he put me through a stress.
But you said when he left, you had to go down and apply for welfare.
Oh.
What happened to the military allotment for the children?
He got out. He got out under
thank
less
you
than
very much.
honorable. He got out under
So he
less
was
than honorable.
discharged?
Honorable
Conditions.
discharge, Your Honor.
Well, it was less than. It was general.
Anyway, he got out and he didn't have another check from the
Yeah.
military.
Yeah.
Can we leave it at that?
Yeah.
All right, go on, move on.
Okay, so when he left, he went on to his mom's house, and I went on and took the kids to my mama's house, and they were staying with me for a while.
For 2 weeks, Your Honor.
Just keep
They was
talking,
still- they
Miss
was still-
Campbell.
okay.
Why you keep interrupting and trying to respond to what he's
interrupted
saying?
me.
But am I saying anything?
No, you're not.
Am I listening to him?
No.
Am I responding? Am I looking at you and listening to you?
Yeah.
Well, pay attention to me. Forget
Okay.
what he's over there.
Okay.
I got him under control,
He
and you just
started
keep...
lying. Okay. So they were staying with me. So that's when I went and filed for welfare, yeah. That's when I went and filed for welfare because they were staying with me. And he wasn't in the picture. I was begging him to
Yeah.
come out there to give me pamper money. He didn't even do that. My mom was taking care of me and my kids.
All right, so how long did you have the children?
I had the kids for like, 3, 4, 5 months?
Oh,
Five
she had the
months.
kids
And then
for
you
2
got
weeks
back together?
after we got out of the military.
Then he said he wanted to come. He had came and stayed with us. He came, tried to be a family man or whatever he wanted to do at that time. I guess the girl was getting tired of him. So he came and stayed with us. And so I guess he didn't like staying at my mom's house because he had to do things. He had to work. okay? So he didn't like staying there, and he had to pay his
Yeah.
way, so he didn't like staying
Can I
there
say
because he don't
something,
like
Your Honor?
paying his way. So
I say something,
when
Your
he
Honor?
stayed there with
Hold
us,
on.
when he stayed there with us, he worked that little McDonald's job. It wasn't nothing, wasn't doing all that, okay?
Okay, where were you working,
and
though?
I
Where were
still
you
needed,
working?
I still needed the public assistance because he wasn't doing nothing. It wasn't no check.
But did you let them
And
know
I,
that
and
he
I
was
told
working?
them that he was staying with me.
All right.
Okay. Because at one while I was gonna put him on my medical card because I had to be taking care of him. He ain't got no money. He ain't had nothing.
So then the two of you finally separated again?
So we moved in after that time. We moved out to he moved to his mom's house. I moved to my mom's house.
I thought you already at each other's mother's house.
Yeah.
No, we had moved together to my mom's house.
At your mother's house, all right.
Yes, and then he moved back. He moved back to his mom's house, and I moved to my mom's house. I mean, I was at my mom's house anyway.
That's
And
what I
so-
thought. You keep talking about moving. I thought you were
Well,
there.
We was there, and so then we finally got a place together. We
All right.
decided to get a place together.
Okay.
So we got a place. He stopped paying rent. Well, first before he stopped paying rent, I had a good job. I was able to take care of the kids, pay the bills and everything.
Yeah,
I was
she
working there
never
for
worked.
3 years. Okay.
Where did you
He
work for
made me
3 years?
resign. They was gonna fire me because he didn't want to.
Where did
Now,
you
what
work for
period
3
of
years?
time is this? Is this
Yeah.
after you moved out and moved back together that you got this job?
It was after a year.
We got married in '95.
Okay, so now you're working for 3 years. Don't listen to him. Pay attention to me and answer my question.
I had to resign my job because he didn't want me to work. He didn't want me to.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure that I have the same period of time
Okay.
and we all on the same page.
Okay,
Because you keep jumping. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I can't jump rope that fast.
Okay.
I'm too old. I can't do it anymore. So
Okay.
I'm trying to, jump one at a time. Next level,
Yeah.
next level.
Okay.
So are we?
Okay. First, okay.
You left your mother's
We
house.
left.
You reconciled. You got a job.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay. And while I was working, I mean, I was help paying the bills and everything, and taking care of my kids. Coming home on lunch break and fix them something to eat or whatever, because he's on the PlayStation all day long. So I'm fixing them something to eat and all that stuff. So I had to run back, hurry up to work before I be late. So he stopped wanting to watch the kids. He told me, I got to do this and I got to do that. So he stopped wanting to watch
So
the
he
kids.
wasn't
told me-
working?
No, he was working, but he was working at night. I was
Okay.
working during the day. Okay. And so when you're making me so sick. And so when we finally got it together for a while, okay? And so he was calling his ex-girlfriend, and he was calling everybody, all his girlfriends. He was calling his mom and them, talking about me on the phone, and mom and them.
Yeah.
Yes, she was. He had
First of all-
his cousin was calling the house,
Yeah,
having
ma'am.
other girls on the line with her, and talking to
Your
him
Honor,
and
me and
stuff.
my
Okay, and then so he told me that he wanted me to quit my job, so I quit my job. Now,
Your Honor, she
you gonna
never
take
had
care
a
of me?
job
Phil?
to
That's why I
quit,
asked
first
you.
of
You gonna
all.
take care of me?
Okay,
If I
now
quit
let
my
me
job,
turn
you
to
gonna take
him,
care of
because
me?
now that's a good place to go to him. You quit your job, according to you. He told you to quit.
Yes, he
After you
did.
having
Yes, he
all these
did.
troubles,
Yes, he did.
and he's talking with the girlfriends and playing games,
yes.
but he told you to quit your job and you
Yes,
quit.
he did. Yes, he did. He
All
said he was
right.
gonna take
Now
care
what
of me.
about that? Now
First of-
take it up from there.
Okay, first of all, I never told her to quit a job because she only worked at a job for at least a month. Only a
nigga's
month the whole time we were married.
When divorce court continues,
The day we got married, he was kissing on the girl. The day we
On
got
the
married.
wedding night?
Yes,
She
she
said
told
it's
me
like
on
she
the
don't
phone.
have the
Said she
wedding
didn't
night.
What
tell
do you
me.
mean kissing on her?
And then she said make a choice.
if you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Letitia Campbell, who says her husband Philip made her quit her job.
Now, you kept saying she was lying when she was talking. Now, what part was she lying about?
Well, first of all, that she was working for 3 years. I mean,
Okay.
she be working for 3 years. We got married in '95, September of '95.
The last
We got
day of my
married in
job was
September of
99.
Ms. Campbell.
'95. We moved to Nebraska in October of '95.
Yeah, get the
We
license
stayed
right.
out there till about August of '96.
All right, and then
We-
you went to move into your mother's house and her mother's house?
No,
and all-
first I went back to move with my mother. She went.
he was
She went to stay
messing
with her
somebody.
parents. I stayed with my mother for at least about maybe 2-3 weeks.
Okay, so when did you get the kids?
I got the kids. It was April of '99.
So just 2 years ago, you got the children.
Exactly.
Then that was after you guys broke up for the last time?
Right.
And when you went back together after you got out of the military and you were living at each other's parents' house, you got your own place, she said you were having these girlfriends. You were still
she
in
was-
touch with your ex.
I was in touch
And
with
had
my
folks calling to the house.
No,
Calling
me and
the
my,
house.
to the judge.
me and my
Go ahead.
ex-girlfriend, we were
Don't
friends like before we even got together, I was still talking to her.
The day we
'cause
got
were
married,
friends.
he was kissing on the girl the day we got married.
She says like, how was I
She told
kissing
me
on the
on
girl?
On the wedding night?
Yes,
She
she
says
told me
like
on
she
the
don't
phone.
have the
Said
wedding
she didn't
night.
tell
What do you
me.
mean kissing
I don't know
on
what she
her?
told you. I didn't
She
she didn't tell me
said
that.
make a choice.
What do you mean kissing on her on the
She
wedding
said
night?
in her
Make a
car.
choice.
She had
What?
came to the house. She had came to the house, to his mom's house.
Yeah, no,
We
we
was
was-
at his mom's house.
the night-
Hold on a second. Before or after the wedding?
This is after the wedding, the night that we got married. Okay, that night she came over there, was kissing him in a car.
Man,
She
I was
told me
with
on
her
the
the whole
phone,
night.
and because she called
like
there,
with a
she
girl.
called there and acting like she a business with H&R Block or whatever, asking for Phil. Okay, she said she H&R
No.
Block asking for Phil.
Y'all not-
Don't start lying. She was asking for Phil, and I said, Phil, anybody got anything to do with business gonna say
No,
Philip.
she was
Philip, can I speak to Philip Campbell, not Phil? I
was
said,
doing
no,
my income taxes,
this is
Your
that
Now,
girl. So
wait
I
a minute.
called back.
This is the night of your wedding.
Yeah.
So you're at his mother's house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you didn't have a honeymoon?
No, because he had to go back to the
military
military.
base.
He was on
Nebraska the
leave.
next day.
He was on leave when we got
But
married.
you couldn't even go to a hotel or a motel or a Holiday Inn for
No,
about
He
We
cheap.
did all
few
that.
hours?
No,
he
Yana,
cheap. He wanted to spend
I was
all
with
his
her.
money on
I was
him.
with her the whole night after we got married. I don't know where she getting
But you couldn't
ideas.
go
I was
anywhere.
sleep. I had to sleep sometime, didn't I?
You couldn't go anywhere for quiet time alone for a few hours?
Well,
Well,
we did that after we went to
eat
when I
and
went
got
to
to-
Nebraska.
you
The
know,
day, the next
that's
when
about
she
it.
came out there.
But not on the wedding night.
No.
Right.
Okay, let me tell you. Can I
So
finish?
somebody's calling the house. Is that right?
Nobody
Somebody
was
called?
calling
The
that-
lady
well,
called?
Oh,
I was
my
I was
God.
still talking to the girl because she was my friend. I mean, we was
Did
friends.
she come over to your house?
She never came over to the house.
So you went
She
outside
came over to
kissing
the
her?
house. She came over to the house with her before because she called the girl and told her to come over there. So she came over there
Oh,
with
come
three.
on now.
No,
This
he's
is her
lying.
wedding night, and she gonna
No,
call
this is
and
after the
ask
wedding
you-
night.
Ask
This is
another
after the
woman to
wedding
come
night.
over there. Help me.
I'm on the wedding night. She
Nothing
said,
happened the wedding night. I was with her the whole night the wedding night.
she
I
said
don't
the
know what
girl
she
came
talking
over, you
about.
were outside kissing on in the car.
Sure
Yeah, and I
was.
was
She
with her
told me
the
on
whole
phone.
night.
She
How'd she
told me
tell
on
you
the
on
phone.
the
She said,
phone? And I was
because she
on- I
called,
was
she
with
called
you.
there acting like she H&R Block. Like
That
she was
wasn't even
doing
on the
his
wedding
taxes,
night.
right?
I got that part.
That was like 6 months later.
Yeah, she called there
Hold on.
afterwards.
Go on, finish that now.
She called there like a couple weeks afterwards, okay? And no, a couple days afterwards, matter of fact. No, she didn't.
No,
It was-
6
you don't
months.
know
It
what
was
she
6
called.
months.
No,
Your Honor, it was during
I'm trying
tax
to
time,
remember.
which
I'm
was
trying to
around
remember because it was a
February.
while ago. Okay.
Okay, let's just say she called.
She called. Okay.
Okay.
Well, she said she was H&R Block.
Got
okay.
that.
Okay. And anybody that said anything about doing business is gonna say Philip instead of Phil. So I knew it was her. So I called back. So when I called back, because he was hiding phone bills in Nebraska anyway. He was hiding phone bills and he
Yeah, I
wouldn't let me
wasn't
see the
hiding
phone bills
phone bills.
because he was calling back to Chicago trying to keep in touch
Yeah,
with
she
the
was
girl.
calling
His
psychics
cousins were
and
calling
party-
everything. His cousins were calling everything and have her on the line with them because they didn't want
I
us
already
to be
got
together.
that part. Why you
Okay.
repeating yourself?
And so we went. She called, said she was H&R Block and all that.
Ooh,
and
you love this H&R Block, I tell you.
She's trying.
She called and she told him to make a decision. Do he want to still
Yeah.
be friends with her or do he want to be with me?
Who told you all that? How did you know all that?
She didn't say that, Phil? Come
No,
on
she
now.
didn't say that.
She didn't say that.
No.
Well, so what if she did say it? Did he?
And so he didn't say nothing. He was sitting there looking stupid. Didn't want to make a decision.
No,
Sitting there
Yana,
looking
she told me
stupid.
He
Yes,
that
had
he
already
was.
made a decision. He married you.
Yeah, and this was like
but
6
he
months
wasn't
after
with
we were
me.
married.
I mean, what?
She
in body?
called. She told me
But
to
not-
call the
his
girl
heart
and
was-
tell
his
her
heart was
she wanted me to
there.
end my friendship with the girl I've been friends with like way before I even
Friendship.
knew her.
Well, you had to stop. You had
wanted
to end the
friendship.
kissing
Man,
friendship. Come on.
I was not doing anything
Thank
intimately
you.
in no way with her.
When divorce court continues.
I was going through a time where I had cancer. Okay, I had 2 months to live. And this man did not bring
Yeah.
my kids one time to the hospital.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Letitia Campbell, who says her husband Philip cheated the night of their wedding.
So now that the two of you have finally broken up in the last 2 years, I don't understand why, you still haven't told me why you ended up with the children. Because she went back to her mother's house and didn't have a place to live?
Right, and her parents weren't allowed to keep our kids to
At
stay
that time, I didn't
there.
have a job, okay? I was going through a time where I had cancer. Okay, I had 2 months to live. And this man did not bring
Yeah, I
my
know.
kids one time to the hospital. I was in there, I was sick from chemotherapy, radiation, and all that. He did not bring my kids to the hospital. I mean, when somebody
How
tells
you
you got
doing
2 months
now?
to live, you want to see your family. And I
You would
couldn't see
think.
my kids. You know
So
what I'm
how
saying?
you doing
and
now?
it hurt me. To this day, it's hurting me. Because I feel like this man did me
Yeah.
wrong all my life, and he couldn't even bring my kids to see me at that point.
Yeah, and this was only
Okay, so
months
that
ago.
was 2 years ago?
No, this was months ago.
This was months ago at this point.
2
few
years
months ago?
Yeah.
2 years
So
ago,
how
she
you
was fine.
doing now?
They said it's in remission, but I believe in God. I believe in that it's gone.
So right now you're not feeling any pain or repercussions from the
every now and then
cancer?
a little side pain, but I mean, it's
You're not undergoing therapy or chemotherapy or radiation or anything?
not anymore.
So it's in remission.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that it stays that way.
Yeah, I believe in God.
You working?
Yes, I am. I'm a mental health counselor. I work with kids every day, and that's the point I'm making. I mean, he don't bring my kids to see me. I don't have a car. He has the car.
Yeah,
He don't bring my kids to see me.
I have to
and I see
practically
these
beg.
kids every day.
But I'm saying he ended up with the children because you didn't have a job at the
because
time.
I didn't have a job.
And you didn't have a place to
I
stay.
didn't have
She didn't have a
I
place to
couldn't
stay.
take
And
care
in
of
the
myself. I
last
was
2
staying with my
years,
mom and them.
you still with your mother?
Yes, I am. Because I'm getting over cancer now.
Yeah, she just found out she got the cancer like a few months ago.
And the fact that I didn't have any way of taking care of myself, let alone them at the time. But I've been
So how
giving
long
him
have you
money.
been
Every time I
working?
get money, I give him money.
How long have you been working?
Three
Never
months
gave
now.
you money.
So you just been working the last 3 months.
Yeah, because the
3 months out of
cancer
2
is-
years.
And what about the
It's like
welfare?
back to work now. That's over.
So you stopped that.
Yeah, I've been stopped that on him.
But they still
Okay,
take
so
money out of my income
you're
tax
saying that
every
in the
year.
last 2
That's
years,
because you ain't paying them
no.
people.
What?
They still taking money out of my taxes
No, they
every year.
not. No, they
They
not.
say it's over, but they still take money out of my taxes every
Well,
year.
I don't have nothing to do with that. I stopped.
You do have something to do
so
with it. You want-
I stopped it. That ain't
Well,
got
I'm
nothing to do with it.
going,
That's
I'm
the
going to
courts.
say this. I'm going to order that the two of you do whatever is necessary, working together, to make certain that you get that back child support issue resolved.
And I've been
That's
doing
all
that. I've been working.
Now, but my point is, you were not working for almost 2 years. Is that what you're telling me?
I was working.
Right,
I
when I
worked.
had
I worked
kids.
census job and some, little jobs.
But it's only been in the last 3 months that you've gotten a permanent job as a mental
Permanent.
health worker.
Permanent, yes.
And you're saying that you're not seeing the kids. Why isn't she seeing the kids?
I
He won't
have
come
to
see
practically
me.
beg her.
Yeah,
I asked her to
I'm
keep the
not gonna lie to
kids.
this man.
I have
He
to
don't
be-
bring- he
I
don't
asked
see
him,
me.
why aren't you seeing the children? So that ball is over
Yeah, and I
here.
have to practically beg her for. I asked her to watch the kids for a weekend, just a weekend. I have to practically beg her to do
Okay.
that. And she won't. She
Now
still
you're
won't
Not a
do it.
mental health worker
Now
who
you're
works
lying.
with children.
Now you're lying, okay?
The past
He
2 years,
lying.
I practically beg her to keep the
He
kids for
lying.
at least a
He
weekend.
is lying.
She won't
And
even do that.
what did she say?
He
What
lying.
excuse did she offer?
She'll have an excuse like, I ain't got no money for them, and my mom and dad,
Oh, he liar.
they won't let them stay there. They gonna
He's
start.
lying.
I won't have a babysitter
He's
because she
lying.
want to go out. She always.
So did
run
you
back and
offer that
forth.
she could come to your house and see the children?
I told her she come over anytime she want to, but she expect me to have to go
And
pick
you
her
would
up.
leave would you leave when she came?
No, I stay there.
And could the two of you be in the same house together?
And I ain't seeing my
Not
kids.
really.
In the
We
presence of
argue.
the kids?
Not really.
That would be a fist fight, it seemed like to me.
He's lying.
No, we don't- I mean,
He's
we
just
don't-
sitting there lying to you, Judge. He's just sitting there lying to you. He's
About
sitting there
what?
lying.
Yeah.
He's not
Because-
sitting. First of all, he's standing.
Well, he's lying, okay? Because I get on the train and come see my kids. I have them come pick me up on
How
the
many
train
times
station.
within the last 2 years?
Hey, come and pick. More than I can count, Phil, and you know
What,
it.
3?
Stop lying to this.
4
Stop lying to
times?
this woman. Stop doing it.
Ooh,
Talk
wait
to
a
me.
minute. You are getting too far.
When divorce court continues,
How does somebody make you quit a job? You got 3 kids to
You
take
wouldn't
care of.
babysit them. That's why.
I want to babysit.
You want to babysit them.
You know what? I don't want to hear that anymore.
divorce court continues in the case of Philip Campbell, who wants his wife Letitia to pay child support for their 3 children.
You're working. You're not working. You have the 3 children.
Right.
The only reason he had the kids because he made me quit my job. And he first.
You know what? I don't care why he has the kids. And if he made you quit your job, then you should have taken the custody of the children. I don't understand how somebody can make you quit a job.
did have
Hold on a second. You don't have any money. Money is short. You have 3 children. You know how much you have to live off of. How does somebody make you quit a job? I wouldn't care how much the person complains about you working. You got 3 kids to
He
take
wouldn't
care of.
babysit them. That's why.
I want to babysit them.
He wouldn't babysit them.
You know what? I don't want to hear that anymore.
Quit lying, Phil. Just quit lying.
I don't care why he has the children. Bottom line is he has them.
I'm getting my kids within the next month anyway.
Well, if you get them in the next month, you just change the child support order. But the order now from this court is that you pay $600 a month, $200 per child for child support.
She get
Until
paid twice.
another court makes a different order.
She get paid twice a month.
I said
he won't be getting money
$600.
so he could go out and party.
I don't have time to play this game with you people. And you're making the same argument that those men make when they stand before me, the reason they don't want to pay child support. All she's going to do with it is
I don't
party.
mind taking
Just be
care of my
quiet.
kids.
All she's going to do is party. All she's going to do is go get her hair done. All she's going to do is buy clothes. She's going to shop. She's not going to take care of my kids. Now he has them. You're making the same argument. He's just going to go party. Not my concern, not my issue. If he's partying, not taking care of the children, then you get custody. And you go in and ask for a change of custody, if that's what's happening. But in the meanwhile, there's a child support order.
Okay.
It's $600 per month.
I don't mind.
That's the order of court.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Oh, you see? I told you. The argument is the same.
Always.
Has no gender
So
bearing,
it
does it?
doesn't say so. It doesn't matter.
Has no gender bearing. Bottom line is the people that don't, the person who does not have the children does not want to pay support.
Yeah, the
And the
non-custodial
excuse is
parent all the
always,
time.
he's not going to take care of the children, he's going to party, she's going to party. Bottom line is they don't want to get up off the money.
You know what's really
And
sad?
my answer to them is the same as it is to everybody. The woman is the same as it is to the man. Go get custody then.
Yeah.
I'm here because my husband, he's a liar, he's a cheater, he got another woman pregnant, and I think he needs to pay for it.
Well, I'm here today for my divorce because my wife tried to set me on fire in my own bed when I was sleeping, and I know it's time for me to go.
So you're saying that she doesn't allow you the opportunity to think for yourself.
She treat me like one of the kids. If I don't do it her way, it's the highway. She ready to fuss, ready to pick up something and throw it at.
Do you pick up things and throw it at?
I do that, but that's not often.
See?
According to these papers, you set the bed on fire
Yeah,
when
she
you
tried
got
to set the bed on fire on me. Yeah.
What happened?
When I found out he cheated on me.
Now, LaShonda Thomas says the flame in her marriage to Stephen is gone, and she wants him to pay spousal support so she can put this marriage behind her. In today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of LaShonda Thomas versus Stephen Thomas. After 5 years of marriage and 2 children, you want a divorce. Is that right, Mrs. Thomas?
Yes, it is.
And you want the court to order him to pay you spousal support.
Yes, I do.
Tell me about it. What ended this relationship after 5 years?
Well, it was a year ago, to be exact, that I found out that Steve, he's a liar. He's a cheater.
minute, Your Honor.
He got another woman pregnant.
Hold on a second.
He got another woman pregnant, and I think he should pay for it.
A year ago?
Last year, that's when I found out about he was cheating on me.
And how old is the child born or is
No.
Actually, he tells me that she lost the baby, but the woman he got pregnant is not the one he cheated on me with.
Oh, so it's 2 different people.
Your Honor,
He cheated
Your Honor.
on me with one woman, a married woman. I found out
That's
about
a dangerous
it.
game.
I found out about it, and I asked him to leave.
The reason why I left, you know, when I left, she told me to leave. She used to call the police on me for what reason? For no reason at all.
None whatsoever. She just liked to pick up the phone and call the police.
She basically did.
Why? She just liked to see him come out in that black and white car?
I used to see. She used to get angry for no reason at all.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. Because she'll get angry. She'll
Mr.
get
Thomas,
angry.
if you start,
Your Honor.
wait, hold on a second now. Let's explore this. None whatsoever. Just like to call 911, because that's a crime. If you
Yes.
just call it
Yes,
911
it is.
and the police just for the fun of it.
Yes,
Now
it
you
is.
think back in your head and give you a little self-time. There was absolutely no reason whatsoever for her to call the police.
She used to get mad at me because I didn't want to get up and clean up the house. If I don't get up and help her clean up the house, she'll get mad
You
and
lying.
start throwing things and call the police.
You
So the
lying.
police,
She used to kick
wait a
me
minute,
out.
so the police now are used to help you clean up the house?
You have to tell her that, Your Honor.
With all the crime out here, we have time for that?
No,
That was how she
I
was
felt
doing.
it was
So
50-50.
she started throwing things at you.
She'll get mad like that. When I go to work at 5 o'clock that evening to the 5 o'clock in the morning, Your Honor. And when I get off work, I be tired. So when I take me a shower,
get off
eat a
work,
little
I'm
something,
tired.
and go to sleep, she'll wake me up. She'll get up early around about 9 o'clock. That's just 4 hours. She want me to vacuum clean the floor or make a bed or something like that. And if I don't do it, she gonna get mad.
So you have a schedule.
Yes, I do.
And your routine is you get up at 9 o'clock and clean up the house?
That's not it. We have 3 kids. I go to work, I come home, I have to get my kids ready for school the next day, early in the morning time, after breakfast, or even we just skip breakfast. I have to get started with dinner and cleaning and stuff. I think if I can go to work and come home and do all that, I can get a little help from
What
around
time
the
do you
house.
go to work?
I go to work at 4 o'clock in the evening.
And what time do you get off?
I get off at 11 at night. Then there's some nights I don't get off at 11 o'clock, and sometimes it be like 12 o'clock.
So the bottom line is, if you up, you want everybody up.
Just the same way when he gets home. When he gets home at 5 o'clock in the morning, what does he do? He sits out with his friends till 7 o'clock in the morning. He can sit out with them until 7 o'clock in the morning, play this PlayStation game or whatever, you know, and his friends leave when I get up to get my kids ready for school. And then that's when he claims he is so tired and all this other stuff. By the time I take the kids off of school and come back home,
How old are the children?
9 and 6.
So your position is, if I'm up, you up too. We up together, right?
Basically.
And the two of you cannot
just,
figure this
just
out.
Just for a moment. Just for a moment.
But you can't figure out a schedule. Hold on. You can't figure out a schedule to work together to get the kids to school, to get the house cleaned up. So what if you get the kids off to school and then he gets up later and cleans up the house? What's wrong with that?
He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. Because he
She won't get me tired because she better call the police on
He
me.
done sat up all morning. He done sat up all morning and with his friends. And now he's just so dead tired. He don't get up until it's time for him to go back to work. But then when I get home from work...
So you said he's just lazy?
Well, I wouldn't call him completely lazy because
would
of
you
the simple
call
fact he gets up to go to work.
Oh, okay. So, but he won't do
has
housework.
He has the energy to be with his friends. He has the energy to be with his brother.
Why I want to be with somebody that gonna always do, only thing we're gonna do is fuss.
So you're
Fuss.
saying that she doesn't allow you the opportunity to think for yourself.
She
just
treat me like one of the
dictates
kids.
It makes you,
You
get up
act
and do
like
things.
one of the kids.
Wait, she want me to do she want me to do everything when she want me to do. If I don't do it her way, it's the highway. She ready to fuss, ready to pick up something and throw it at.
Is that right,
So-
Mrs. Thomas?
And don't let
No.
me leave.
Do you
Don't
pick
let
up
me
things
leave.
and throw it at her?
I do that, but that's not often.
See?
I just
And don't
think-
let me leave, because soon I leave, try to
I told
avoid
him-
it. She gonna say, oh, you ain't finna go nowhere.
I
Oh, you
tell
wanna leave
him
with your
three
friend. I'm trying to
things.
avoid the arguments.
3 things.
You know, that's not funny to me. Because picking up things and throwing it at your husband, I don't care if it's nothing but another piece of clothing, that's a battery. You don't have the right to do that because he doesn't jump when you want him to jump.
That's not
or he
it.
doesn't
It
do
go-
things.
it goes further
hold
than
on.
that.
I don't care why. You don't have the right to throw anything at him. Anything. Whether you like what he's doing or dislike what he's doing, whether he's moving too slow, moving too fast, not doing it your way, it's called domestic violence. You don't have that right. Just like he doesn't have the right to throw things and hit you. Now, the minute he would do that, you dial police.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, it goes both ways. He's a human being, you're a human being. Neither one of you hit on each other. You're adults. You can't make him clean up. He can't make you clean up. It seems to me that you should have enough get up and go about yourselves that you would do it. But you can't dictate when he does things. You have to respect each other. You work out a schedule. Simple as that.
She don't want
try
that.
that.
She
He
want me to
don't
go by her schedule.
Okay, so when you try to make him do it, what does that do? Does that add to the relationship
Actually, I don't
or take away from it?
I catch an attitude when I don't, and he knows it. And I start doing it myself. If he's up watching TV or playing the game and stuff like that, I'll be like, I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking. And I'll be like, throwing stuff away in the garbage can. Steve, would you come and take the trash out? It's full. I'm in here cooking.
When I'm up
He
here,
like,
I do all that.
I'll do it in a
would do
minute.
it.
I'll do it in a minute.
So it's just-
by this time, by this 1 minute.
Yeah, it comes into 30 minutes.
30 minutes come by and stuff like that. So I grab it and I throw, I.
So you're a little
trash out.
impatient, huh?
I take the trash out myself.
When divorce court continues.
According to these papers, you set the bed on fire
Yeah, she
when you
tried
got
to set the bed on fire on me.
When?
When I found out he cheated on me.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Stephen Thomas, who says his wife LaShonda treats him like a child.
What you're saying to me is that he's right. He says, when you ask me to do it, if I don't do it the way she wants to, when she wants to, she gets angry, and either you'll get angry and throw things, or either you'll get angry and do it yourself. But what I found is that if you keep doing it, then he'll never do it. What you've said to him is, if I sit here long enough, after knowing I'm supposed to do something. If I sit here long enough, she'll do it. So you allowed him to play that game because he's figured it out. If I sit here long enough, she'll do it. And then I won't end up doing anything. So you have to be wise enough just to let it happen. Let the trash sit there until he takes it out.
I can't
Oh,
do
you
that.
can't do that.
I can't
See?
do that. I can't do that. If the
She
trash
got a
needs to be
little
taken
violent
out
temper,
right
that's
then,
it.
it's not,
Yes, you can do that, but
violent.
that's what we call controlling. And you can be, women can be just as controlling as men. And that's
And
what
she
you're
know I
doing. You're
won't
trying to
lay a finger
control everything.
You do.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah,
said,
I'm
according to
control.
these papers, you set the bed on
Yeah,
fire
she
when you
tried
got
to set the bed on fire on me.
When?
Yeah.
What happened?
When I found out he cheated on me.
Look, Your Honor, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Tell me what happened, Mr.
I
I asked Mr. Thomas to tell me what happened.
Look, when I was staying with her, before I even had an affair, I am not gonna deny about that.
Oh, you did have one.
Yes, but before I even had one, she used to go around telling my brothers, we sit down playing the game, PlayStation, she'll tell my brother,
You're lying.
did
You're lying.
Steve tell you I had an
You're
affair?
lying.
Stop, Mrs. Thomas. I'm talking
like,
to Mr. Thomas.
me and my brother, I was like, what? She humiliated me right there in front of my brother.
I was lying.
Well, why would you say
Why
something
would
like
he
that?
that?
Like I said.
Why I want to hear that all the time? I'm your husband. I don't need to go through that.
I hear it all the time
right.
for him. I hear it all the time for him. For the 5 years that we've been married and the 2 years that we was together.
What did you hear?
He would always accuse me of messing around.
So you decided
Always.
I'm gonna tell him
He
that I am?
worked. He worked right across the street from where we lived at. He could see from where his job is. He could see our front door. He used to come home every day. Who been over here? Steve, ain't nobody been over here. Well, I can't see who come through the back door. Well, you right. You can't see who come through the back door.
So you didn't trust her?
He didn't trust me.
Nothing you did to cause suspicion?
Not have sex with
Oh,
him.
that's a great suspicion right
she
there.
never had sex with
Reason
me.
why? Reason why? He would come home drunk. Why would I want to be with you when you drunk?
I ain't gonna.
Now, first of all, you said he came home and he sat out in the house in front of the house with his friends. Then you said he came in the house and he went to sleep. Now you're saying he came home drunk. So that's why you didn't have sex. You have a lot of excuses for your conduct.
These are different situations. These are different situations.
So when did you stop having sex with your husband?
When he moved back in the third time.
So you've been separated 3 times?
Yes.
We've separated
and she
3
called
times.
me back twice.
And when he moved back in, why did you allow him back in if it wasn't meant that you were going to renew the relationship?
No, I wanted this third time, this final time, I did want it to work out. This is what.
So did you think not having sex with him was going to make it work out?
That wasn't it because he was never spending the time with me to have sex.
So why were you suspicious of your wife? Why did you think that she was having an affair?
Your Honor, I used to come home, from my friend's house, come in, because I know I have to work the next day. She used to go outside with a whole bunch of male friends. She called them her friend. I don't really know them all. Male friends sit out there all times of night with them, out on the car.
Sitting on the car?
Yeah.
So what you think she was having sex on the car?
Okay, Your Honor, I don't know what happened out of that because she don't come in because she'll wake me up by about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's when she just getting in. I'm asleep. So
you don't know where
what's
she's
going on.
been?
I don't know where she's been.
And at
But
some
she'll
point,
tell
you
me
think she left with those guys?
She outside. She was outside on the car. Okay, sometimes I look outside
And you're
on the
married?
car. Yeah, sometimes that's what I was looking at. I'm married to her. Why she can't be in the house with me?
The divorce court continues.
You couldn't figure out how to take care of the children and get on the schedule together. And you couldn't figure out a schedule to get sex together. How did you get these 2 babies?
I was asleep.
Oh.
No, I was going to sleep.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Stephen Thomas, who says his wife LaShonda set the bed on fire with him in it because she was angry with him.
So the problem is you guys couldn't figure out when to clean the house and couldn't get on a schedule together. You couldn't figure out how to take care of the children and get on a schedule together. And you couldn't figure out a schedule to get sex together. How did you get these 2 babies?
I was asleep.
Oh.
I had to be.
So you were asleep and he was awake. That's when the first one came.
I would want to sleep.
It had to be.
Your Honor, no.
Oh, this
It
is
had to be.
ridiculous.
We never had a problem with the sex thing. The sex thing didn't come up to where we have a problem with until now.
Now that
From
he
the-
has a baby by another woman.
He claimed the baby, she lost the baby.
But you found out about it after the two of you had gotten back together.
Yes.
So it didn't matter. So you're back together, you're renewing your relationship, and if this other woman is pregnant, it happened while you were separated.
You're
Why are
right.
you so worried about
I
it?
wasn't worried
Your Honor,
about it. That
and the
was just
reason
it.
why- the
That was
reason
just
why-
it. I told him when we got back together.
What'd you tell
He
him?
didn't tell me until he was back at
So
home
is the
for 2
problem
months.
that he didn't tell you?
No, that wasn't
Your
the
Honor,
problem.
I was
What's the
truthful.
problem?
Your Honor, I
He
was truthful
told me
with her. I
about the
told her.
pregnancy. He
I
told me
told
about
her.
the pregnancy.
I told her.
When he was back at home at 2 months. She was
I said-
already 5 months pregnant.
Okay, but
I told him, I said, well, okay, we can deal with this. We're trying to get our family back together. We can deal with it. All I ask you to do is let me know what's going on.
like what?
Like, did she do? How she doing? When you talk to her and
Your
stuff
Honor,
like that.
When she met the girl,
Wait
Wait a minute. So now
We
you're.
are married. This
Hold on a
is-
second. I don't understand. You're back together. Now he tells you the woman is pregnant, right?
I'll be honest.
That happened when you were separated.
Exactly.
So what is the big deal that causes that leads to the separation now?
That don't really lead
what leads to the separation now?
He don't want to do anything.
Oh.
He don't want to make
Your
it
Honor?
work. He don't
Your Honor.
want to make it work.
No,
he don't
that's-
want to make
that
it work.
way.
What do you mean by that?
Every weekend we are off from work. Every Friday. I ask him, well, Steve, you want to go and do this? You want to go and do that? He compares me
Your
with the
Honor,
other chick.
no,
the one he got
why I
pregnant.
wanna go somewhere with
He
her,
can-
I don't think
you
we
don't
gonna
know.
do
You
is
don't even
fuss.
try. You don't
So
even
why did you get
try.
back together if
You
all
don't
you're gonna
even
do is
try.
That's
fuss?
what I told her.
If we
I look at my
starting
kids.
over,
Ho. So why you
Yo-
get back together if all you're gonna do is argue?
Because she said everything gonna be different. So I said, all right, we're gonna see. I said, I want to see.
you don't see.
Soon we got there, soon I moved back in, moved my stuff in. It took 1 week, everything was all right. Out of that 1 week, everything that's came back up. I mean,
Well, you know why?
I-
You know why? Because people don't change like that. Just because she said come
I was
back
trying to
in
make the
and
marriage
let's get
work.
the relationship
Oh, you
together.
a lie.
Oh, stop. Neither one of you really were trying to make it work. Because the real problem is neither one of you are capable of doing it by yourselves. You need some real professional help. The same personality that she had when you left, she still had it. The same personality that he still had it. The same attitude. You didn't do anything to change your attitudes. You didn't do anything to change your behavior patterns, did you? You just went out with another woman. And you probably just went out with another man.
Yes,
So just because
she
you
had- she had
separated
the
and
man
didn't do
staying
anything
with
to
her.
make your life better, it's the same people. It doesn't change when you get back together. Of course it was the same.
The divorce court continues.
I tried to make it work.
Okay, it didn't work. You're about to divorce this time, and I hope it's final and you don't keep running back and forth, playing seesaw, cut the buttermilk.
Divorce court continues in the case of LaShonda Thomas, who wants her husband Stephen to pay spousal support.
I tried to make it work.
Okay, it didn't work. You're about to divorce this time, and I hope it's final and you don't keep running back and forth, playing seesaw, cut the buttermilk.
That's why I called, because I'm tired of, he even mentioned it while he's
Okay,
gone.
fine. Now you want him to pay you, right?
Yes.
Well, it seems like to me, you haven't told me anything about what you did together. All I've heard is we did nothing together.
He won't give me a chance to do anything, Yon.
So if you didn't do
that's
anything
what-
together,
that's what
why should he pay you now? Spousal support.
Because I can't do it by myself, and I can't do it
Your
with
Honor,
him. So,
Your Honor,
so
Your Honor,
he
she
should.
can
If he's
do
not
it.
gonna,
Your Honor,
if he's
I give
not
her-
gonna be
I
there, I
give
got
her-
his
Your Honor.
children.
I'm talking to her now.
I have his children.
Got that.
We need
That's
need
child
to live.
support.
We need
That's child support.
Okay. We need
You
to
asked
live.
for spousal support.
Exactly.
Okay, there is a difference. Child support is for the benefit of the children, based upon both parties' incomes. Spousal support is for the benefit of the spouse, to keep you in the same standard of living. But you just said to me over and over and over that you didn't do anything together. You didn't really live together long because you were in and out, in and out. What's the longest period of time you lived together without separating? Longest period of time?
3 years.
No, living in the same household, never separated. 3 years. All right. Now, are you working?
yes.
Is there a
Yeah.
child support order?
No.
Your Honor, I take
There's
care
no
of my-
child support order?
No, I give her $100 a week every time I get paid, and I take care of my kids.
You in here
Everything.
asking for
All
money
things
for
you-
spousal support and you don't have a child support order?
She said she don't want me on child support. She didn't
No,
want me
I
to give
did
her
not.
$100 every week.
I didn't tell you that. You the one said that you didn't want to go through the courts.
Okay. I'm ordering $700 per month for child support, $350 per child. I'm denying your request for spousal support because child support has the priority in this court. By the time he pays the child support, there's nothing left for spousal support. So that's the order of the court. $700 per month, $350 per child per month for child support. If you go out and have another child, that's your problem. You already know that you have a responsibility for these two.
Your Honor,
And every time you have another one, you just get more.
Kids.
All right.
There's no problem there.
But I'm just suggesting to you that you think about that you already have a child support order. If you go out and have another one, you're going to get an order for that. And you may end up with $200 or $300 a month in your pocket. So if you weren't using any protection before, since you are having sex irresponsibly, I suggest that you stop doing that. And you too, you already have 3. So you don't have.
I'm not doing anything.
You don't have any. You know, you can't look over there. You need to do something about your body too. You have 3.
I can't have any more.
Good. That's the order of the court.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Now you know what that is. You know what that was?
What?
2 young people have the responsibility for 3 children. Neither one of them really wants it, but they have it. Now, the wife is feeling that I'm doing it all,
Right.
and if I got to do it, you have to do it. And instead of allowing him to do it his way, she's upset about, I have to do it, so you have to do it.
All I want is for Michael to reimburse me back on the money that I had put into storage. It was his idea to move back to Texas.
I don't owe no money for storage on property that I own, and I'm not even allowed access to get to my own property.
Wait a minute. Now, she claims that she's doing all this cross-country back and forth between Texas and Arizona to be with you.
Don't think so.
He could not make it in Arizona just like
He's
he
an auto mechanic. How do you not make it as an auto mechanic anywhere?
She took off on me, so I grabbed the dog, the clothes, we went back to Arizona.
This is the easiest case I've ever had.
Bertha McMallow says her husband Michael dumped her in the middle of the street with her belongings. Now he says she is holding his property to get even. In today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Bertha Pena McMallow versus Michael McMallow. I'm advised that after 6 years of marriage, that you want a divorce. And Mrs. McMallow, you want him to pay you $264 for storage fees and another $79 that's now become due. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about it.
I had to put our stuff in storage
No.
due to Michael wanting to move back to Texas.
Move from Texas from where?
Or move back
ma'am.
from Arizona, I'm sorry, to Texas. Due to things were not working out.
What was going on? The reason things weren't working out?
He apparently could not keep a job there.
No, ma'am.
Which was-
Apparently could
That's
not
not
keep a
right.
job there. Is this your husband?
That's not
Oh, we
right,
talking about a
ma'am.
stranger.
No, we're talking about my husband.
That's not right at
Well,
all.
what's not right? I haven't heard.
That happened in Texas. That's the reason he moved to. He wanted to move to Arizona, and I agreed to it.
So you were in Texas, he moved to Arizona.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you got to Arizona, he wanted to move back to Texas.
Texas.
No, ma'am.
And he went to Arizona so he could have a job.
No, ma'am.
Correct.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want to tell your story. That's your life. Talk to me.
No, this ain't this.
Well, can you tell me something any better?
Yeah, I can tell you a lot of it. One, the stuff in the storage. I'm not going to pay on stuff that's my property. I'm not even allowed access into it. And as far as going back to Texas, it was for her to be next to her family and her kids and her grandkids.
A lot of it's.
I left Texas for a specific reason. There was nothing left there for me no more.
Was your
That's
wife
why
there?
I moved to Arizona. She came out 4 months later, or a couple months later, stayed 4 days and left me.
So you
And went back to Texas.
So when you married, you were in Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
And you left Texas
we were
because
together
there was
9 years
nothing
before
there
we
for
got
you.
married. We've been married for 6 years. We've been together approximately 15 years.
Woo, a long
Yes,
time.
ma'am. A lot of investment in
So
on
why
this
did you
one.
say there was nothing there in Texas for you? That's why you went to Arizona.
I'm a mechanic by trade. I have been for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
There was really not much left down there in Arizona. The kids were grown up. I seen an opportunity to move on with our lives, no different than our folks did when they retired. Move on.
And my kids
I came
were
out to
still
Arizona,
teenagers.
found a job, went to work. She sold all my property, all my belongings in Texas, everything I
That
had.
was his decision.
But I
Except
thought you
my
said
dog.
you were moving from Texas to Arizona anyway.
Right. I came out to get a job, get established, to bring her out.
And it was his
She
decision for
sold
me to sell
everything
everything.
that I owned. Everything.
So she sold it too
Washer,
fast or what?
dryer, the bed, you name it.
No, that
everything.
was his decision for me to
And then
sell it
came
all
to Arizona
get
with
back
no
to
money.
Arizona.
And stayed
wait
4
a
days.
minute, Mr. McMallow. Do you understand what you're saying?
Yes, I understand what I'm saying.
You left Texas
Yes,
because
ma'am.
there was nothing left for you in Texas, right?
Basically.
You were
there was-
uprooting, moving to Arizona to
Yes,
start your life in Arizona.
That's right, ma'am.
So if you were moving to Arizona and leaving Texas, wouldn't you sell and get rid of your property back and take it with you?
I came to Arizona basically with my truck and my clothes to find a job, to get us a place, to get us started.
Okay.
She was going to sell all of our property down there and come out with the money. She came out with nothing.
Oh, so
Except her
No, I
stuff.
Okay, so you're upset at the fact that she sold and came to
No.
Arizona with zero.
Not upset with that
cost
fact.
me
The fact that
$800
I'm
to move.
upset with is the stuff that's in storage. It's been in storage for 10 months, which I can't get my hands on because she's gone out of her way to make sure of that.
Because he threatened to
She
sell it.
lives in
Okay,
Texas.
hold on a second.
I
So-
live in Arizona.
You moved from Texas to Arizona.
Yes.
He says you sold everything. You brought your little self to Arizona with nothing to show for what you had sold his property for in Texas.
Because it cost me about $800 to rent a truck to get what we had left to Arizona.
So that's all you got was $800 when you sold all the possessions?
Pretty much.
Well, I
Plus,
mean, I
quit.
don't mean no offense, Mr. McMallow,
Bad
but
salesman there, Judge.
what
I mean,
was she
brand new
selling?
washer, dryer, ice
I
box.
thought she was selling a piece of property or something.
No.
You mean
Our belongings, all of our possessional belongings.
like
Only thing-
furniture and washer and dryer?
Everything. The only thing she came out with
Mr. McMallow,
was
what
her
did you think
stuff.
she was going to get for a wash and dryer? What did you expect?
Could be anywhere
What
from
we
50
paid
bucks
for
or a
it.
couple $100.
Okay,
Who knows?
50 bucks
I
to a
don't know.
couple $100.
I have
I
no
did
idea.
get
I wasn't there to
$250 for
make
it.
those transactions.
Okay, then you sold up what other kind of possessions?
Dining room tables, couch, furniture,
King-size
beds.
water bed.
So what you put in storage? If you sold everything?
Her stuff.
Be quiet, I'm not talking to you.
Yes, ma'am.
It was things I've had since before I met Michael.
Okay, things I've had, don't tell me
Like,
anything. What?
Knickknacks, my kids' pictures from day one that they were born, my grandkids.
Why you put pictures in
My
storage?
stuff.
Well, I thought I was going to stay there at the time when I moved to
Why would
Arizona.
you put pictures in storage instead of taking them with you? Those are memories that you sit down in the
Because I
family
had-
and look at.
Yeah, I understand. I have too many of them to have brought it back with me when we came back.
Too many pictures to take back with you? Renting something that cost you $800, you couldn't take pictures?
It
Huh?
didn't cost her $800, ma'am. It cost me.
Miss McMallow, who do you think you're talking to?
You.
Really? Do I look stupid or something?
No.
What kind of pictures did you have that you couldn't take with you? Are you talking
Well,
about photographs of people, or are you talking about pictures you hang on the wall like
Oh,
paintings
no.
and stuff?
Photographs of my children, my grandkids. Right now, I have
And you
stuff-
had too many to carry with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I be dog. I've
My
never
kids
heard that
are-
one.
My kids
That's a
are
new one on
grown.
me.
My kids are
He's been a
grown. My oldest son
photographer.
is 22. So that's 22 years of pictures and...
Well, mine is 37. I got 37 years worth of pictures, but I guarantee you I can take every last one of them with me.
When divorce court continues.
He could not make it in Arizona just like he couldn't in Texas.
That's why I'm
but he
still
blamed
here.
He's
it
an
on
auto
me.
mechanic. How do you not make it as an auto mechanic anywhere?
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Michael McMallow, who says his wife Bertha refuses to return his personal belongings.
So you put your knickknacks. What's knickknacks? You mean those little whatnots that my mama used to call that you put on the shelf and you got to dust off and it just call they all they work is
Yes.
all
Yes,
they good
that's
for
it.
is collecting dust? That's all they good for? You talking about
That's
those kind of things?
Yes, ma'am.
So why you couldn't sell that? If you needed money so badly to get back to Arizona to your husband, why you keep your knickknacks and your little whatnots and your pictures and put them in storage, but you sold all his possessions? What's that all about?
No, that
Your
was
Honor,
his
I-
decision
I'm asking-
for me to sell everything that was big so that I didn't have to deal with everything that I could not move.
Okay, so
Because
what's
he was
his
already
that you
gone.
kept there then? What's his that's in storage?
Oh, I have pictures and clothes and stuff of his that are in storage.
Furniture.
Furniture now that we bought in Arizona.
I bought.
Oh, now you got
I
furniture.
bought. She ain't buying nothing in Arizona, ma'am.
Really?
That we
When
bought.
she came up here, I purchased everything that, I mean, couch, furniture, tables, chairs, televisions, VCRs. I mean,
now
I had
all
to
of that's
start
in
all over.
storage?
I had to start all
No.
over. She sold everything in Texas.
Well, come on, Mr. McMillan,
It was-
stop crying that story
I'm
about
not
she sold
crying,
everything.
man.
Stop. You were moving from Texas to Arizona,
We went-
and you were relocating, so she
was already
sold,
there.
okay?
I was
now
already
you
there.
went to Arizona and you started over and you bought all new washer, dryer, furniture.
No.
All right, now you
Couch
back
check.
from Arizona and you're moving back to Texas.
We went back to Texas. I was there
Why you
approximately.
go back to Texas?
It was
wanted
his
to be with the
decision. No, it
family.
was his decision because
No.
he could not make it in Arizona just like he couldn't in Texas.
That's why I'm
but he
still
blamed
in
it
You're an
on
auto
me.
mechanic. How do you not make it as an auto mechanic anywhere?
I work for the biggest corporation in the United
Temper
States.
mainly. Mainly his temper.
I keep a job.
You-
I
you-
went back to Texas. I was there 5 days. I already had a job lined out. Went and put money down on a townhome. She took off, disappeared.
No, it
I
was
called her
his decision
mother.
to move
I
back,
called her
not
family.
mine.
Nobody could tell me where
Wait
she
a
was
minute.
at. She just
so now
disappeared.
he made the decision to move to Arizona. He made the decision to move from
back.
Arizona back to Texas, and you had
back
no
to
say so
Texas,
in none of
back to
this. Is that what
Arizona.
you're telling me?
I was
Pretty
there
much,
one
yeah.
week and left.
He dropped me off the night that we got back into Texas with my car on a
On a
tow
dolly.
dolly about halfway in the
Front of
middle of
her
Mom's street in
Where you
front of my
dropped him?
mother's house.
At your mother's house.
Yep.
So in other words, he was dumping you.
Well,
That's
the
it.
car was on the dolly, ma'am. Yeah, and I listened to her for 2 days,
Well,
and I
wait a
had
minute.
enough.
If
No.
you're moving back to Texas as a
I
family,
took-
or
No,
were
Your
you
Honor.
separated at that
No,
point?
Your Honor.
No.
All our property was still in Arizona. I mean, I've got like an
Okay, so
$8,000 race car
were
and
you
everything.
moving back to Texas as
She
a
wanted-
family?
Yes.
Yeah, we
So
were
why
going
you
to come
drop her at
back and get
mother's
our
house?
property. I was going to come back
was
up here and
mad.
try to get our property. She didn't even
Temper.
have a job when we got
Temper.
back. I did. I had
No.
one waiting. My boss even laid the money out, paid for a motel
When I
for
moved
us.
to Arizona, I had a real good job in Texas.
So now you crying over that spilled
And
milk. I
then-
quit my job and
She
moved to
couldn't
Texas.
make no
Well,
money in
but
Arizona.
then again, when he decided to move back to Texas, I had a job in Arizona. He was not working.
So you quit that one too?
He wanted to move back, so I agreed. But he's saying that I'm the one
Okay,
that set him
you
up.
have a job. He doesn't have a job. He wants to go back to Texas. You're the only one working, and because he
not
wanted to
true.
move back, you agreed,
That's-
right?
that's
And then
not
you go live
true.
with your mother?
Yep.
I don't
Always
know.
does, just like the
Oh,
5
no,
times I came home
don't.
that my
Be quiet,
house was
Mr.
empty.
McMallow. Let her talk for a minute.
No.
Then you went to live with your mother?
I stay with my mom maybe that night I had to because it was real late at night and I was
What
trying
about
to
this
get
motel that was paid for a week?
That I paid for.
I paid for it.
Oh my
For
goodness.
us to get into
I thought
it.
you said
Money.
your employer paid for it.
She didn't have no money. I contacted my boss that I worked for 5 years previously and accepted me to come back. Here's half your check, $900 take home a week, paid for the motel. I took the rest of the money, went and put a deposit on a
Oh,
townhome.
townhome. I heard that
within
story.
a week.
Hold on a second.
When divorce court continues.
2 nights, she took off on me. I had no idea where
So then
she
you
went.
moved back to Arizona.
We went back to Arizona because I had a job in Arizona. There's nothing in Texas.
Oh, Mr. McMallow, please spare me.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Bertha McMallow, who says her husband Michael was irresponsible with money.
So why did you leave?
I paid
just
the
did.
night for us to get the motel.
Okay.
Because he stayed at one of the neighbors that we used to have when we lived in Texas.
Slept in the car.
He called me the next day. I put up the money for the motel, but he's saying he's the one that put up the money for
I don't
it.
care who put up the money. Did you go to the motel with him?
Yes.
Okay, well, did you leave?
Yes.
Why?
Because of his arguing, constant.
Constant arguing?
Arguing.
Over what?
Yes. Just mainly money. He
Like you
paid
arguing
for-
over now, money.
Yes.
I don't understand the argument. You're arguing over the furniture being stored? What you mean you're arguing over money?
I live in Arizona. She doesn't. I came back to Arizona. I have not seen her for 10 months.
I thought you moved back to Texas.
No, I moved back to Texas. We were there approximately 1 week. Out of that 1 week, 2 nights, she took off on me. I had no idea where
So then
she
you
went.
moved back to
I called
Arizona?
her. So I grabbed the dog, the clothes. We went back to Arizona because I had a job in Arizona. There's nothing in Texas. The only thing that was in Texas
please
is her
spare
family
me.
and her
Come
kids.
on now, you left Arizona and been back to Texas because you had a good job waiting for you. You stay in Texas 2 days, you move back to Arizona because you got a good job waiting for you.
I had a job when I left. You know, I mean, I've been with this woman 15 years. I'd do anything for her. She wanted to go back to Texas because her 4 kids live there. Her
Now
3
she claims,
grandkids
wait a minute,
live there.
now she claims that she's doing anything for you, that she's doing all this cross-country back and forth between Texas and Arizona to be with you.
Don't think so. If so, I would, why, I haven't seen her in 10 months.
So maybe if you all stay in California now and go to another state.
No. Oh, no. No.
Maybe it's time to try another
I mean,
state.
not like I'm going to have any problem as a mechanic. No.
No.
In 10 months, my stuff has been in storage. I cannot get into it because
But why can't he get in there to get the little stuff out of storage, Mrs. McMallow?
Because when we came back from Arizona to Texas, he called me up when he was back in Arizona, told me that he was going to get my stuff out of storage and sell everything I had in there, which I called the storage, talked to them.
That's the stuff you left in Texas.
No, left in
No,
Arizona.
left in Arizona.
There ain't nothing in Texas.
There's nothing. There's nothing there.
Now you see how confusing this story
I
is?
can understand that. I can understand.
So now we back to storage in Texas.
No,
in
in
Arizona.
Arizona.
Your knickknacks and pictures.
And all my furniture,
And all
my
his
clothes, my
furniture.
TV, my cell phone,
He
you name
threatened
it.
to sell it. So I called storage to make sure that he could not get in there. I have been making payments on that storage since I put it in
So
there.
he threatened to sell all your stuff. So you said to the innkeeper, keep my stuff and don't let him in.
That's right.
Yes.
They wouldn't accept
Because
But
no
now
I
you
don't
want him to
know.
pay the bills.
Yep. And it's,
Because-
most of it's my
Yes.
property, and I'm not even allowed access.
All you have in there is knickknacks and pictures.
No, I have
And he has
clothes.
furniture and stuff.
No, I've got clothes. Everything I own is in there.
Well, I don't
I've
know
had-
what you own, so tell me what that
Well,
is.
10
I've got
months.
all
it's
my
been.
clothes, all my pictures, all my knickknacks.
So if it's all in storage, what you need it for? Obviously, it's not anything that's needed if you can leave it in storage for 10 months.
Well, because when we went back to Texas, it was during the summertime. And I
And
had,
what, they
I
don't
had
allow people in storages in the summer?
No, I had plans on going to get it before the wintertime got there, and I have not been able to. So
Why
right
you
now,
haven't been able to? You guys keep going cross country, Texas there to
Oh, I've
Texas,
stayed in
Arizona.
Arizona
Why
now.
haven't you been able to go back there to get it? What stopped you?
a way of
They
getting
won't
it
let you
back
cross
to
the border
Texas.
anymore into Texas?
No, no.
The divorce court continues.
Explain it to me. I'm gonna give you one more time to explain it to me so it makes sense. Because all I see is you just being evil.
Divorce court continues in the case of Michael McMello, who says his wife Bertha is holding his personal belongings to get even with him.
So now you've been paying the bill, and you want him to reimburse you for paying the storage bill. And you wouldn't pay because she wouldn't give you
I'm not
access.
about to. That prop,
You know,
most
you're
of that,
just trying to be evil.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's not it.
I just
Well,
gotta
then,
look
I know-
back.
I know how he is.
Give me one, explain it to me. I'm gonna give you one more time to explain it to me so it makes sense. Because all I see is you just being evil.
No, the reason I would not let him in that storage is because there was a time in Texas that we separated. I left without my possessions that I had. He would not let me have any of them.
Your Honor, because I came
Closed,
home
nothing.
5
So
times
this
and my
is get
house
even
was
time,
empty.
right?
No, it's not get even. It's just I want to make sure that he does not take my stuff.
Like she's done to me in the past, Your Honor. 5 times. I came
Oh,
home
what?
from
Do you
work.
want those little knickknacks and
No,
pictures?
I mean, I have come home from
Because
work
the,
and my
wait a minute,
house
because the
was
pictures
empty.
of her children are not even your
I don't
children,
want the
right?
pictures.
Right.
It's your
I
children.
live in Arizona. I
You don't
have
have
an
children
apartment.
together.
No.
So do you want the pictures of her children?
No.
You want the
I want my
knickknacks?
furniture. I want all my stuff. I
It's not
have
all
an
yours.
apartment.
You said you bought it while you were married.
No, well, okay, yeah.
we
that's
were
right,
down
were
there
married.
together.
We're still
Yes.
married right now.
You
so.
better know it. That's what I'm saying.
You
Do
know,
you
yeah,
want
what's
any of this
mine
But
furniture?
is.
he has never recognized us being married.
Do you
Never.
want any of this furniture? Is that the problem?
No.
Okay.
I don't want any
so
of it.
you don't want the furniture.
I want the furniture.
No,
and
no,
all the
no.
rest
She
of my
doesn't want the
belongings.
furniture.
No, she
You
just
don't
wants
want
the
her
pictures.
knickknacks.
No.
And neither one of you wants to pay the bill.
Well, I'm not going to pay for
I've
something
been
that's
paying
been
the
in
bill.
storage that, I don't
Hey,
even
you
have
know
no
what?
access to.
Let me tell you something.
I would, if that was
Mr.
the case, I
McNally.
would have paid it 10 months
It's a-
ago and got all that out.
Easy, easy. This is the easiest case I've
apologize,
ever
baby.
had.
I apologize.
Wish all of them were this easy. I don't even need to call up Solomon on this one. Now, here's what I'm going to do. You're allowed into the storage facility to get your items only. You pay the last $79. If they won't accept the money from him because you've put that no access clause on there, then tough, you got to pay it. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And stop being silly. Grow up. If you don't want to be in each other's life, get away from each other. Get on. Separate yourselves as quickly as possible. All this does is keep you in each other's lives. Obviously, you're not ready to separate and move on. You want to get back together? Get back
No.
together.
No.
Well, if you want to be apart, then be apart. End it. That's the order of the court.
All rise. Parties
Give
may
this
leave the
to him.
courtroom.
Give that to him.
Here you go.
Silly. Just silly, silly. That's utterly ridiculous.
You could be doing a lot more important stuff than that one.
I mean, this is crazy. And all it is at each other's throat, just so they can just keep in each other's lives. And these are not even kids. These are not 22-year-olds.
No, they're-
These 43 and 39. Come on now. They're
They're
old
acting
enough to
like
know
little
better.
kids.
Acting like a little kid.
That's silly.
I want the judge to know that I thought I was marrying a Christian woman and she turned out to be a demon.
I want the judge to know that he was having an affair with his ex-girlfriend.
You thought that because he was with you when he was married, that you had more going for you than his wife, and that's why he liked you so much. And once he left her, he'd be with you permanently.
I thought he would learn enough lessons to not do that to me.
Now, if you were with the man for over 20 years, but only married to him for 2.5 years, it sounds like to me there was a little cheating going on a long time
Yeah,
ago.
I made a mistake.
And now when he was
I made a
excuse
mistake.
me a minute, I'm talking. Don't try to talk over me. You won't win.
Now, Carolyn Thompson says she is walking away from this marriage, but she wants her husband Robert to pay spousal support so she can go to school and make a better life for her and their son. In today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Robert Thompson versus Carolyn Thompson. And I'm advised that you've been married for 2.5 years, but you've been playing house about 20 years. Is that right?
Yes.
And now you want a divorce and you want him to pay you spousal support. Is that right, Ms. Thompson?
That's correct.
Okay. How did we get to this point?
He, well, before, while we was married, he was
You're
there.
still married.
Yeah. And he was there, you know, helping me with the bills and helping me financially. I just feel like, you know, his cheating was the reason that we're separated, and I just feel like he should still help me pay the bills and
Your
help me
Honor.
financially, because I'm going to go to school and trying to further and better my education so I can get better care of my son.
What was his cheating that you're talking about?
He was with his ex-girlfriend. He has a...
No, I wasn't.
Yes, he was.
I'm gonna give you your
Yes,
say.
he was. He was with his ex-girlfriend. And his sister told me that the girl said that she was going to break the marriage. That when his sister told the girl that we were married, she says, it's not going to last because I'm going to break it up.
And
she
did she
had been
do
trying to... Yes, she did that.
And you allowed her to do it? And when
No,
you...
I didn't allow her to do it. He would tell me, I want to be with you. I don't want to be with her. And then he'll go and be with her. She'll call him or he'll call her, and he'll go and be with her. And then he'll come back. Oh, after she kick him out or kick him to the curb, then he'll come back. I'm sorry. I want to be with you and my son. I want to take care of you. I love you. And then, but it's like still, he'll go back and do the same thing again. And my mom, he is selfish.
Hold on a second. Slow down a minute.
Yeah, let me say
No,
something.
because you're saying that he had an ex-girlfriend and he'd go back and forth between you and her.
No.
For 2.5 years? This is what happened?
He would go to her. If me and him get into an argument or whatever, he will go to his ex-girlfriend.
She threw me out.
No.
She threw me out.
No, I didn't throw him out. I did not throw him out.
Hold on a second.
I didn't go to I went over my mother's house, and I didn't go to no ex-woman.
Hold on, Miss Thompson. So wait a minute. You're saying that when you and she would get into an argument, you and her would get into an argument, that she'd kick you out.
Right.
When she throw you out, you'd go to the ex-girlfriend.
No, I go to my mother's house. I didn't go to no ex-girlfriend.
Why'd she say you went to the ex-girlfriend?
I don't know. She left. I got up after a couple of weeks into the marriage. I got up one morning and she was gone for three days. 3 days. But mad or not, you should have.
Hold on, Miss Thompson.
She should have been there. She should have stayed there and talk. And then after that, she left for 2 weeks. I mean, you know, and I'm sitting there. I'm going to work, coming back home, and
No.
she'll
So you really
while
want
I'm at
that's
work,
not true.
clean up or whatever. But she wouldn't be there when I got home from work.
No.
And I went on with this. I went through this for I don't know how long.
For how long?
About a couple of weeks.
No,
And then
At a time.
She'd leave for 2 weeks at a time?
Yes.
No, that is not. No, he is lying.
And you were.
When you was working with your mother, I mean, when your mother got sick.
Okay.
When your mother
my
got.
mom.
Hold on. And during this time, you were the faithful husband.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, until
No.
she started the 2 weeks thing.
No, that is not true.
And when she
then.
started the 2 weeks thing, what did you do?
Then.
He went cheating on his ex-girlfriend. That's what he did.
Wait, Miss Thompson, let him answer the question. Then what did you do?
And then I did run across ex-girlfriend.
You just happened to run across her.
That's
Yeah.
And when you ran across her, did you rekindle the flame with the ex-girlfriend?
Not really. We kindled it. We seen each other. We had a daughter, together. But
And what does seeing each other mean? You looked in each other's eyes?
that too.
Well, come on, talk to me. Don't act silly with me now. You're too old for that. What you mean by saw each other again?
Well, we started a relationship.
Well, that's what I said in the first place, didn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So you had to go full circle to get back to the truth, right?
I guess so.
No.
So you started having a sexual relationship again?
After she had been gone for that long.
All right, and did you move in with the ex-girlfriend?
I hadn't went
No,
nowhere.
I hadn't. No, I
Did you
hadn't.
move in with the ex-girlfriend at any time?
Yes, I did.
And did you stay several nights at a time?
Yes.
Then when the ex-girlfriend get mad at you, you went back to your wife?
Nope.
So how did that work?
Yes, she threw him out and then he wanted to come back.
And you let him back?
Yeah, I let him back because he said he was going to be faithful and he
Excuse me,
loved
I'm
me and my
talking.
son and he wanted to
It's
be
my
with
turn.
us.
Now, if you were with the man for over 20 years but only married to him for 2.5 years, it sounds like to me there was a little cheating going on a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. I was 20 years old. Yeah, I made a mistake.
And now when he was
I made a mistake.
excuse me a minute, I'm talking. Don't try to talk over me. You won't win. So when you were 20 years old and you've been dealing with this man for 20 years without the benefit of marriage, what state of matrimony was he in?
He was divorced.
For 20 years?
No, not the whole 20 years.
Okay.
About 10 or 15 of it,
When
he
you
was
first
divorced.
started the relationship, what state of matrimony was he
He was
in?
married.
And how long did you continue in this relationship with a married man?
Not the whole 20 years.
I didn't ask you how.
Maybe about 4 years, I'll say about 3 or 4 years.
While he was still married?
Yes, and then I realized it wasn't right, so I got out of it. I said, I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to do this no more because it's not right.
And did you stay out of it?
Yes, I did.
And when he divorced, what happened?
Then we both went our own separate ways, and then about, 3 years later, we got back together.
So then how did you say you were with him for 20 years then?
Back and forth.
Oh,
Off and on.
back and forth. But now, if you were dating him and having sexual and intimate relationships with him while he was married, is that right?
Yeah.
Now, that means he was unfaithful, right?
Yeah, but see,
Hold on a second. Just don't see nothing. Just wait until I finish. That means he was unfaithful. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Means he couldn't be trusted.
I thought he would be faithful to me.
You thought that because he was with you when he was married, that you had more going for you than his wife, and that's why he liked you so much. And once he left her, he'd be with you permanently, huh?
I thought he would learn a lesson because he got divorced the last time because of his cheating. So I thought that he would learn enough lesson to not do that to me.
When divorce court continues.
He had the girl over in my house, sleeping in our bed. The girl told me I had sex with him in your waterbed.
The ex-girlfriend?
Yes.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Carolyn Thompson, who says her husband Robert constantly cheated throughout their marriage.
I tried my best to make this marriage work, and the more I tried, the worse she got.
And what did you do so hard to try to make this marriage work?
I stopped drinking. I stopped running the streets. I started going to church with her. Mm-hmm. Isn't that true?
And then what happened?
I gave up my nightlife for her. I did everything I could, and the more I did, the worse she got.
The more she started running the streets.
It's like the man, the demon jumped in her.
No, that's not true.
Like who jumped in?
Abandoned demon.
An abandoned demon that left you went to her?
Exactly. That's what
you're
trying to say, but no, that's not true.
So she started staying out the 2 weeks at a time and the 2 days at a time and getting up in the middle of the night leaving. Is that right?
And
I go to my mom's, but he would make me mad.
I don't know if she had her mother.
Hold on a second.
And I would say, my mom had a hip surgery. He is so selfish. My mom had a hip surgery, was in the hospital for 3 days.
Before then.
He got mad at me because I was at the hospital with my mom. I would come home, cook, clean, and everything, and I'd go back to the hospital. He had the girl over in my house, sleeping in our bed. The girl told me I had sex with him in your waterbed. I had sex with him in your waterbed. I said, you didn't have sex.
The ex-girlfriend?
Yes. I said, you didn't have sex with him in my waterbed because that waterbed is outside. I took the whole bed and everything and threw it outside.
Okay, let's deal with that. Did you have sex in the waterbed with your ex?
And she talking about her mother hadn't had no surgery then. It was after. It was after that.
Hadn't had any surgery then. What then are we talking about?
When she left me for them 2 weeks, her mother was in good health.
So you're talking about a different period of time when she left for 2 weeks.
She didn't got to flip that.
No, she said 3 days. You on the 2 week period, she on the 3 day period.
Yeah, see?
You guys on separate pages.
Okay, the 3 day movement, I didn't know nothing. She wasn't telling me nothing. All I knew, she was gone.
For 3 days.
Yes.
And you didn't know her mother was sick and in the hospital?
No, I had nobody told me anything.
How did you not know that her mother was sick? You weren't communicating?
Her mother, at the beginning, her mother didn't like me all that well.
I don't have anything to do with whether her mother liked you or didn't.
Like me.
Miss Thompson, would you please hush when I'm talking? It doesn't matter whether she liked you, but this is your wife. The two of you aren't talking to each other about what's going on in your lives and your extended lives to the point that you didn't know that your mother-in-law was sick?
No. She didn't tell me anything.
He's not telling you the truth.
And nobody in the neighborhood, and you didn't hear it through the grapevine, and you didn't hear anything.
We didn't socialize with our neighbors.
No, you know what?
Okay, so when your wife was gone for 3 days, was she gone 3 days straight?
Yeah.
And you didn't know where she was?
No, ma'am.
And you didn't care enough about it to find out?
Yeah, but wasn't nothing I could do, you know.
Well, did you find out where she was?
He wasn't trying to find out nothing.
Okay, I wasn't messing with that girl then.
Yes,
so what did you do to find out where your wife was for 3 days? She could have had a car accident. She could have been laid up in a hospital. She could have been in a morgue. You didn't do anything to try to find out where she was?
I knew she was. I knew she was all right because.
How did you know that?
We go to the same. We go to a church together.
Miss Thompson, please.
And people kept me informed, you know, stuff like that. But if she wanted to run off, I wasn't going. So if they kept you so
informed, why weren't you informed that your mother-in-law was sick?
They didn't tell me that, but I wasn't going to chase behind her. I don't do that.
That's not chasing behind her. If she's going to see her mother, it seems like to me that that's what a husband would do, would go with his wife at least, and out of consideration, courtesy, concern, respect for her mother, would go and visit her mother.
I used to make her go visit her mother.
Oh, boy,
He never had to make me visit my mother.
When divorce court continues.
The only reason I took him back was because my son cries for his father.
How old was your son before you married this man?
Well.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Robert Thompson, who says his wife Carolyn would disappear for days at a time during their marriage.
So you leaving him because of he was, quote, unfaithful and cheating with the ex.
Yes,
and now
but-
you want the marriage to end because when you married him 2.5 years ago, after 20 years of watching this man be unfaithful and a cheater and a liar, and you yourself engaged in the same type of unfaithful activity, you thought he's going to be honest.
Yes. I was dumb enough and stupid enough to think that.
No, you weren't, because you know what? You didn't think it one bit.
I did. I thought he was going to be honest, true, and faithful to me. If I'd have known he was going to cheat on me, I would have never married him.
When you married him 2.5 years ago, you blamed the other foolish behavior on youthfulness. When you married him 2.5 years ago, you weren't young and 20 years old. You were about 38 years old then, right?
Right.
Huh?
Yes.
So by then, 18 years had passed. You should have learned a little bit more about life and people and behavior and what we call repetitive conduct and reputation and character. You don't know anything about the word character?
Yeah. The only reason I took him back was because of my son. My son cries for his father. He loves his father and he loves me. He don't understand that
How
we
old
have
was your son before you married this man?
Well,
we
had him before. Well, when my son was my son was 2 months old when I married him.
So it means that you got pregnant with the child knowing that you weren't married.
Yes.
And you
that
gave
was a
birth to the
mistake.
child knowing that you weren't married.
Yes, that was
so
another
if you were so
mistake.
concerned about your son, why bother? You knew what kind of man he was. Now, aren't you concerned about your son now?
Yes, I'm very concerned about
And you
my
want
son.
your son to have a father?
Yes.
So then why are you leaving his father if you're so concerned?
No, because he won't stop cheating with that girl.
And he wasn't gonna ever stop cheating.
No,
and he gonna die cheating.
I did stop. I mean, you know, I got old and wanted to settle down and make a. Like I said, I would try my best to make
You
it
got
happen.
old. How old are you?
I'm 46.
You're not old yet.
That's old to me. In the streets, you're old.
Yeah,
when
probably because you've been running around for a long
that's
time,
what I'm
right?
saying. And I wanted to
And your
settle
body's
down.
getting a little worn and torn.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to make it work. She know in her heart. She know
No.
that I tried my best.
We've been
I
together.
stopped-
It seems to me that if the two of you could stick with each other and stay together off and on and have this relationship for over 20 years and a number of years of which he was married, and you put up with all the foolishness, what's the difference now that you said I do?
Because this last incident that really made me upset was he called the girl. He called her on the phone at
The
his
woman.
mother's.
Why?
The woman. He called the woman.
That's why.
He got
That's
mad
why.
at me and went and called the
No,
woman because he
no.
wanted to get with her. He
No.
wanted to get with her.
My-
so she
my-
didn't return his call, so he came back home.
My daughter's birthday was coming
No,
up,
that was
and
before his daughter's
she heard it
birthday.
on she heard it on the answer machine. It's your daughter's birthday. Boop boop boop. Would you gonna get her something for her birthday? She heard that
No,
on the
this
answer
was
machine.
before that happened.
Okay, so now you think that he ought to pay you some support.
Yes, I do. Because I feel it is his fault. The reason we're separated, because he won't stop cheating with her.
He said he's not.
He told me that so many times before.
And you kept taking him back.
Yes, because it's like
And
I
wasted
wanted to try
20
it again
years.
and hope he learned the
Wasted
lesson.
20 years of your life with a man that kept saying, "I'm not going to do it again."
I wasn't the only one
The
cheating.
youthful years.
I wasn't cheating either.
Okay, what about the
Neither one of
paralegal?
you were faithful. Neither one of you.
Right? No, neither one.
We've
of us
already
was.
established that.
Yeah.
Monogamy was not the order of the day in this relationship.
The divorce court continues.
You all are meant for each other. You just a thorn in each other's side. And even when you get these divorce papers, he's still gonna be in and out your bed.
Divorce court continues in the case of Carolyn Thompson, who wants her husband Robert to pay her spousal support.
This girl said from day one that she was going to break that marriage up.
Well,
so she said
and
I
you
could
should have
do
been
it.
just as determined that she wasn't. So you let
But he don't see what she doing. He don't see that she's trying to break it
You
up.
know what? You all are meant for each other. You really are. You just a thorn in each other's side. And even when you get these divorce papers, you're going to still be together. He's still going to be in and out your bed.
Believe it or not.
Oh,
no
yeah.
way,
Oh,
no
please.
way.
See, he go, yeah.
I had enough of this.
Yeah, right. The two of you haven't lived together long enough to establish any type of standard of living, to establish any relationship where the two of you depended, or where you, since you're asking for spousal support, depended upon him for your existence, and where he paid and took care of you and provided for you such that I should order that. Now, is there a child support order?
I haven't asked for one yet.
He has,
Who has custody of the child?
He has custody of my child.
Now, stop.
Only because
Stop. I don't care about why. Mr. Thompson, do you want some spousal child support?
Yes, I do.
Now, that's all I'm worried about. But child support for that child that's 2.5 years old, who unfortunately is now 4?
No.
2.5 years old, who unfortunately has two parents that are immature at age 40 and 46.
46
I can
years
live
old
with the
seems like he would be
22-year-old.
learn
Stop.
something.
The 22-year-old standing before me sounded like this. I thought he was going to be faithful, but not 40 and 46, particularly after you witnessed his behavior for all of those years. But what you did was like so many other people. The other woman, the other man. You always think that you're better and that your stuff is much better than the other woman's stuff. And the reason he's playing around on her and with me is because it's her fault, because she's not doing this, but I'm a better woman. So he's not gonna do that to me. And men, when they mess around when they're married, mess around with another woman, there is no respect. And he's never expecting that you're going to do that.
He loved me and care about me.
Just be quiet. And if he didn't tell you that, he's not no fool. If he didn't tell you that, you wouldn't have hung out with him for all those years.
I'm talking about since we've been married. That's
the same lie he told you before.
There wasn't no lie,
Be
though.
quiet. I don't hear any more from the two of you. Close your mouth. The more you open it, the more ridiculous you sound. Be quiet. I want some support for this child. And this is on the court's own motion, because neither one of you is worried about and concerned about asking for support for this child. And that's the one that really deserves the support. I'm going to order you to pay child support to Mr. Thompson in the amount of $400 per month. That's the order of the court. Court's adjourned.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Well, you're talking about spousal support for less than 2.5 years.
I don't want to talk about taking care of my son because
But
I
no
don't
one's
have him.
concerned about taking care of the child.
Yeah, she didn't want that to come up because she doesn't have
no.
that big. It's a wonder he didn't ask for it.
He didn't ask for it because he's silly.
That whole thing's silly.
But I need to be concerned about him.
Yeah, somebody has to care.
Somebody.